Hey, brother, listen closely. The moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop reacting, everything begins to shift. Not just her behavior, but her entire perception of you. Why? Because women don't respond to logic, they respond to energy. And when your energy is no longer feeding her, the dynamic changes at its core. Now, understand something clearly. Ignoring her isn't about being cruel, it's not about games, it's not manipulation, it's calibration, it's discipline. You're removing the emotional fuel that powered her validation loop. Suddenly, without that source of energy, she has to confront something she's avoided for a long time: herself. You become the mirror she never wanted to look into. When you go silent, it triggers a collapse of the emotional framework she built around your presence. Your attention used to be her dopamine, her proof of control, her emotional leverage. Once that's gone, she's no longer high on your energy. She's in withdrawal. Not from you specifically, but from what your presence made her feel about herself. And that loss hits deeper than any argument could. Part 1. Energy speaks louder than words. Women will say you changed, that you went cold, that you pulled away. But here's the truth: you didn't go cold. You went calm. You stopped feeding the chaos. You stopped attending every emotional battle she invited you into. And in doing so, you forced her to sit with her own reflection without your energy holding it together. Your attention was the amplifier. You made her feel seen, significant, desired. Now, without that mirror, she has to face her own silence. And that's where the game flips. Part 2. Why ignoring her isn't rejection, it's leadership. Most men think ignoring a woman is about punishing her. It's not. It's about restoring balance. See, in modern relationships, men are conditioned to over-explain, over-give, and chase for clarity when confusion is deliberately created. You were trained to be her emotional janitor, to clean up the messes she wouldn't own. Ignoring her isn't neglect, it's refusal. Refusal to keep playing a role you were never meant to play. When you stop reacting, she doesn't feel discarded. She feels confused. Because you were the rhythm. You set the emotional tempo. And when the beat disappears, she loses her balance. Part 3. The magnetic nature of detachment. Detachment isn't disinterest, it's power. You want to be unforgettable? Learn to be present without being dependent. You don't text her first, you don't chase, you invite. She chooses to step in or step off. But either way, you're good, you're grounded. This is where emotional discipline becomes magnetic. She's used to men who beg, who react, who spiral. You do none of that. You stay still, calm, composed. And in that stillness, you stand out. Because presence without neediness is rare. Part 4. The test. She never expected. When you withdraw, she tests. Subtle at. First, she'll post, she'll smile, she'll act unbothered. But indifference is unsustainable when it's not real. She starts checking. Did he watch my story? Did he reply? Is he seeing someone else? The silence that once made you anxious now makes her spiral. Understand this. She doesn't miss you yet. He misses how powerful she felt in your presence. And that power, the emotional high, is now gone. Part 5. From her game to your frame. You flip the script. You stop orbiting her, and now she's circling you. Every moment she doesn't hear from you becomes an echo chamber of doubt. Did I lose him? Was I too much? Is he done? She begins to mirror your silence. But here's the catch. You're not doing it to trigger her. You're doing it because your value isn't up for negotiation. You're protecting your peace. Part 6. Why calm men are unforgettable. Most men break when tested. They chase, they explain, they react. But you? You stay grounded. You walk away from disrespect without drama. That calm response that is power. It tells her, I don't tolerate chaos. I won't reward games. And whether she admits it or not, she respects it. Because deep down, women are wired to seek leadership. And leadership isn't about control, it's about composure. Part 7. How women process the silence. In time, she starts to romanticize you. Not because of your looks, your money, or your charm, but because of how safe you made her feel before she took it for granted. She remembers the man who didn't yell, didn't beg, didn't react. The man who left without burning the bridge. The man whose silence said, I don't need closure. I am closure. Part 8. The shift within you. Ignoring her doesn't just change her, it changes you. You start to feel lighter, you reclaim your mental bandwidth. You stop leaking energy into dysfunction. You no longer chase what you can attract. You stop trying to be understood and start valuing your own clarity. And that shift, that quiet confidence, touches every area of your life. You become a man who moves differently, speaks less, means more. Part 9. She will feel it. She might reach out, she might test the waters. Hey, just checking in. I saw something that reminded me of you. But her energy will bounce off yours like static off steel. Because you're no longer emotionally available on demand, you don't respond for validation. You respond if it aligns with your peace. Part 10. The final lesson. Brother, your silence becomes her greatest teacher. Not because it hurt her, but because it healed you. You chose yourself, you broke the cycle. You didn't ignore her to punish. You ignored her to return to center. And in doing so, you did what few men ever do. You walked away with dignity and built a new reality without asking permission. That kind of energy, that kind of self-mastery, it's unforgettable. So here's your reminder: when you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. When you stop explaining, you stop justifying your worth. And when you go silent, you stop giving away power that was always yours. You didn't lose her, you found yourself. And that, brother, is the shift that makes her remember you forever. Not as the man who spoke loudest, but as the man who stood strongest in silence.